live, according to my watch.
Yeah, so I would say we look a little different because of the topic of the show being old beers and that these are limited. We decided to do it in person from the comfort of my basement, and so yeah, we're all together. Jordan can't join us tonight. Instead, we've got David, who's brought and donated, or most of these beers that we're trying are his actually. So yeah.
See how it goes. I think we have our oldest beer tonight is like a 94 Expo.
Yep.
I think the youngest that we have is still like 2007 or something.
2014, I think.
Oh, okay.
The youngest Expo.
Yeah, well, we technically have a 2020 Eccentric ale, but
yeah.
we'll see how far we can get.
It's something like 14 bottles over there, so
yeah, we're not making any promises.
We'll see what we'll do tonight. Hopefully the audio's okay. We have a pretty nice condenser mic set up between us, so
yeah,
we're gonna try to talk towards it and whatever.
Yeah, if you can't hear us properly, put a comment. I'm not sure what we can do about it, but we'll speak up.
Right.
I'm over here watching chat too.
Yep.
I guess I'm question answer / tech guy for the night. So.
Ryan's got the computer, so if you can't hear, bitch at him. I'm gonna actually take this off. Sorry, it clinks when I move. So that said, we're gonna start at the oldest possible we can. So this is 27 years old.
Sweet.
27-year-old Expo Stout.
I'm kind of excited. I don't really have the chance to. So I assume this is going to be oxidized, right? I think maybe, but
I saw some comments on Reddit on the Michigan Beer sub where people were trying it, and most people were saying it was okay. I think it was some of the older Eccentrics that people were complaining about. One of them may have a gelatinous lump in the bottom of it, so you might want to.
We'll pour it slow. We'll do the home brew pour.
Oh, you'll have a good SCOBY, mother.
I'm actually gonna.
That's a great idea, Jason.
I'm gonna open all three of these. We can pour a little flight. So we'll do a 3-year vertical, 94, 95, 96 of Expo. And yeah, I mean, so what you said about the oxidation. After we got these, I tried. Well, first off, first impression is neither of these snapped when I took them off.
Like fizzed.
There, I got a little bit out of that one. I drank a 2008 cherry stout, and there was no real oxidation. So it was pretty good. But even that, we're going 20 years.
Yeah, these are 15 years old. Yeah. 10 years older one.
So there's 95. That's 95. Sorry, this is 94. Yep. See, if I didn't write on them, we would have totally fucked this up.
So we're gonna kind of start with the vertical.
Yep.
Okay.
Just making audibles right off the bat. 94.
You want the glass it? Silver one. That's
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, I do have a pile down there. This is the 94.
the 94, yeah.
So they all look like stout. It's a positive start. No, I have seen people post about these on the Michigan Beer subreddit, but I haven't really seen anybody say what they thought about tasting them. So I'm excited. Like I was gonna say, I'm excited. I kind of hope they are a little oxidized. I don't really get the chance to taste oxidization in beer that often. What's your first impression?
I just smell the 94 and I'm getting the kind of good oxidation.
It smells like soy sauce to me.
Does it?
It smells like teriyaki or soy sauce or something.
I do. I do get some umami. Very, very low, if no carbonation.
Which is not that surprising.
Which isn't. I mean, it's not a very high carbonated beer to begin with. So 27 years later, it's not surprising. But yeah. So wow. So our first in-person Michigan Brews.
Cheers.
COVID. Cheers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gone.
Oh. So I do get slightly sweet soy sauce.
Yeah.
And then a big hit of cardboard, I think.
I'm more getting I don't get because I've tasted the cardboard, the non-anol flavor,
Mhm.
and when you taste that, you know
right.
it. This to me, it's the soy sauce, the sweet soy sauce. You said I'm getting a bit of that kind of the sherry kind of descriptor that sometimes you get from it.
Yeah.
It's still a really solid stout underneath it. It's just that it's it's got 27 years on it.
It almost has like, it almost tastes ketchup too or something. Like it reminds me of like something you'd like pour over like a meal.
I mean,
It's a strong dark chocolate as well.
it is. Now, going back into it for the second time, it's not instant dumper or terrible reaction. Maybe now that I've got it in my mouth, it's not great. I wouldn't want to drink a pint of it. I'm glad we're only probably doing a couple ounces. I'm trying to find that sherry, and I think I get it now that you say that. But
I still think these would be good to cook with. Maybe, right? Like I'm sure there are some sort of like recipes that these would still like taste all right with.
oh, I'm sure there would be. Even like a chili or a cake or some kind of dessert.
Yeah, that'd be good in a chili.
There's some sweetness there. Yeah. I'm losing my words. It's old.
I'm not gonna finish my pour. I don't think.
I don't think we need to worry about any more beer, do we? About not having enough.
Well, I figure, yeah. Well, I'm not gonna waste my my calories, my limited amount of alcohol intake before I,
and
put
also
my head down.
and also the palate.
All right. So 95. Let's see.
See if 95 is about
I get more sweetness and like chocolatiness off of the 95. than
Yeah,
I do.
I'm not getting that that instant in
It has
the umami.
rich dark chocolate on there. Like,
Yep.
yeah. Like when you crack open like a nice candy bar, like when you take the foil off, like
Yeah.
just smells like chocolate.
Yeah, not so much the soy sauce.
It's a little sharp, it's a little acrid, but again,
It's funny. It's a very burnt, charcoaly after flavor in my mouth. Like up front, it tastes a little bit more carbonation, maybe, or bite. Dark chocolate, not as much sweetness, but then I get like dark malt bitter off the back end.
yeah, it's like you're eating almost like an 80% cocoa chocolate bar.
Yeah.
It's very dark chocolate to it. So it's a little bit more, it's leaving a little bit of lacing on the side of the glass, so it's getting more of a typical kind of body to it.
Definitely more carbonated than the 94 was.
Well,
Even though you didn't
that's
say that.
uncarbonated.
This is where I would put carbonation whore. I'm just saying.
Like honestly, the flavors is sort of really muted, but not in a bad way. Like that's the 94 just isn't good. This is sort of like it's just like a really old style. Like it's not really bitter anymore. All the edge is gone. It's just not exciting, but that's fine because it's 26 years old.
It is.
and it's totally drinkable.
I think that's what's most exciting about it. You're drinking something.
It's not awful.
This was this was brewed the year I graduated.
Wow,
You're
really old.
And
Fuck you, this is like graduation university.
see, so it's a special year for both of us. But it's drinkable. This one more so than the last, I think, for sure.
Yes, I disagree with that. So it doesn't have the objectionable flavour. Even though the objectionable flavour you kind of got used to after second mouthful, but
We got Doug in the chat who's drinking some old beer too. He says, "Love this." He has a 08 Third Coast from the Cellar that apparently he's either drinking or drank. He said it was awesome. And
Which Doug? I can't see.
2003 Eccentric.
Boltius?
Wolfius? Okay.
KGB? East Side. He's East Side.
Okay.
So if I'm wrong at KGB, I apologize, Doug, if I associated you wrong.
Do we have a 2003 Eccentric?
We have a
We have a couple-
2000.
No, I think we got. Yes, we
Four.
do. No, we got 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, for the eccentric, yeah.
Eccentric, we got 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, so we'll probably bust through those.
What's special about 2003? Was that the year we were?
He says it's soy sauce, so, so you're real pumped.
We'll tuck in it in a minute. Then. I'm gonna finish it.
Yeah, this is worth finishing.
That was good.
You take like a big chug of it. Are you tasting anything like after you just like you get like a whole mouthful?
I still can't get over
What's
that.
he say? Oh,
Oh,
that's
this
just
is true.
$2.
This is cheers.
I still can't get over the 90% cocoa chocolate. at the
Yeah.
moment, so
Yeah.
it's
that's all I'm getting.
really dark chochocolate.
When you eat that chocolate, like it's really drying for me too, sort of. And I sort of get that after finishing. I'm just like I'm thirsty.
Well, there's a little bit more of it left if you want some.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have to move at some point and kind of move the collection I have going over here. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
we didn't think that before.
We got the bar in front, yeah, but it's like reaching for it. And I think I might actually get a little pan to dump some of these in, so that we're not, having a bar full of half full empty. But anyway, it's just amazing the difference between the 1 year. And it almost makes you wonder too, like I said this when I drank the 08 cherry a few months ago is, who's to say that the 94 that we tried just had a bad cap or was kept wrong? We don't have multiple beers here to try against each other. So we don't know if they're all bad or not. That cap does look pretty damn dry.
Is that just some crusties on it?
Yeah.
So yeah, we got these from the Bell's General Store a couple months ago, and because they're doing a kind of a cellar clear out areas.
It's actually, there's a case in the store that is labeled Larry's Cellar that they're regularly dropping goodies in. You can pretty much always find, I think like Eccentric Ale, Verticals. Was there the other day and saw like 10, 12, or 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, something like that. There was a bunch of that. There's some cherry stout,
Cherry Stout, I see. Yeah.
Expedition Stout. I think the really old stuff is rarer. We got lucky. Brian and I were in there buying grain when they happened to walk, some of these out. So we were able to snag them. But the other thing that he's doing is wild ones. Putting
I didn't see those.
really old bombers of wild ones in there that you can find.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. And he's not charging crazy prices for these either. So
No.
Now they were going to be about $5 a bottle, aren't they?
yeah.
So it's really, if you get a chance to pick any up, it's a good deal.
Mhm.
And it's a history lesson in the bottle. So.
I don't dabble in the secondary, but I had heard that some of these were going for pretty decent sums in the secondary just for the novelty of having a
Sure.
6-year-old Bell's beer.
Yeah. No one surprised me.
So there you go. Take that pack you got.
My plan is to bring them to a keepers meeting, so all of our club members can enjoy their 94 soy sauce too. So maybe hopefully in June or something once we have more vaccinations going on and stuff.
Yep. All right. 96.
96.
It's getting a little silly again to me. I'm taking notes here too, just for my own benefit. I'm trying to be better about describing beer and stuff. So I figure, given the opportunity to taste some really old stuff, it might be kind of fun to at least record what I'm thinking. I keep thinking fish. I don't know why. It's not what I want to be smelling.
I did get something a little odd on the I burnt in my mouth, so I had to just put on the retronasal, and that was a sensation.
That's a whole different kind of off flavor.
It is. It still has that like drying cocoa like taste to it, but it's It's like a little green too. It's a little plant-like or something.
Yeah, no, the green, the plant like I get it. I almost get a little chemically for some reason like acetone pops into mind, but this one's not good.
It's almost, the descriptor that you sometimes read for some of the off flavors, but this wouldn't be that, because I think diacetyl, the green apple one, the slightly kind of solventy kind of flavor. It's 25 years old, ain't have diacetyl. It ain't that.
No, it's got some other. It's got a mix of like a soy, vegetal, chemical. Yeah.
It isn't. It's not upfront. It isn't the kind of thing that it's not smacking around the face. I think because we're trying to be critical here. We're kind of looking for descriptors. Well, certainly I am. But
one thing that we kind of sort of have to take into account too is that this is some of their, I don't want to say first beer, but like it's some of the beer that he was making recipes for back before a lot of what we know about beer right now was known. Brewing practices were probably different when this beer was being made. Who knows what kind of yeast. I don't know if he's been using his same house yeast for 25 years, like when this was even made. So it's possible that the flavors are even way different than what we know as Expedition Stout now, just because of brewing practices, changes in Kalamazoo with water,
absolutely
yeast differences, as well as the age and stuff like that. So
I mean, just in the way that the malts have changed too. I mean, there's no saying like this stuff isn't available anymore. And I do want to point out, in case Larry does decide to watch it or even join in here tonight, we're not knocking this at all.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
well, that's what I said. We're trying to find things to talk about.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to death that he did this. He put these things out. This guy, kept this stuff cellared and then decided to release it. So that's super, super cool. I'll tell you, I went through my cellar with Brian a couple weeks ago trying to find a third beer to send to nationals, and I only dug 3 years deep. And out of the 12 bottles we broke out, I think only one of them was drinkable. So,
three were drinkable and one was excellent.
Yeah. So to have this shit be like 27 years old and that one 95, I would have drank a whole bottle of it. Like, man, it's just super cool to get the opportunity to try these and acquire them, like I said, on the relative cheap, from Larry. So thanks a lot for doing that. But that said, sometimes, I mean, I don't know how these are kept. Some of these bottles are so thick in dust.
I was going to say that earlier. Yeah. When we got these things, they were like dirty, like sticky.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So you don't know, just the environmentals is, could have thrown 94 and 96 off, and 95 was in the perfect spot. And
well, they also could be literally where they were kept. If they were kept in a perfectly dry, dark, cool environment, fine. If they were stuck in a garage or stuck in a shed somewhere, if it's going through temperature or whatever, or seasonal cycles, she's going to happen in that bottle.
Exactly.
Jason Glass was saying he drank plenty of Bells back in the mid '90s, and this is the beers were much more variable back then. So,
of course, Jason's one of the
OG Kalamazoo drinkers. Yeah, back when Bells was cash only. It was like the last place in Kalamazoo, I swear, to start taking credit cards.
Really?
Yeah, it was cash only for the longest time.
So while we're finishing these Expedition Stouts, I did a little bit of homework earlier, and from the Bell's website, I went through the little history page and said that the Expedition Stout was first brewed in 1989, and it typically comes out in September. So that beer that we have, the 94 that we had earlier, is
the fifth time.
Maybe fifth,
yeah,
or maybe sixth. So it's even as that style of beer, it's only released once a year. It isn't, it's a seasonal release.
Yep.
It doesn't come out, it's not on tap all the time. Because we went looking to see if we could get 20 for this, and of course you can't find it because it went on sale 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So
Sam's drinking. I think you said that old wild one in there. Sam's drinking a 2016 wild one.
Is it?
5
Yeah.
years old, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the wild ones, went back this far. I don't know how long ago he was drinking or brewing wild ones, but I know that he was releasing from the mid 2000s. That I saw some bombers. I think they were like $20 or $25 a bomber, which is similar to the price he's charging for wild one
It'd
today.
be interesting to get some of those bugs potentially. And
See if they're still there.
yeah, I don't know.
If you could prop anything off of it.
Yeah, 20-year-old bugs. Are we doing a eccentric ale next? Cleanse the palate.
Yeah, so we're gonna jump away from the stouts, and we've got a selection of eccentric ales. And the oldest one you said was 2002?
2002. 2002 we don't. So Eccentric Ale it's a different beer every year.
So
It's brewed. For those people, for those listening who aren't from Kalamazoo, every December Bells have an Eccentric Day, where the Eccentric Ale is released, and they have a party. And officially, it's called a Come As You Aren't. You're supposed to come dressed, not so much in fancy dress, but just dressed as your alter ego, whoever that is. It's usually a pretty crazy evening. And to go along with the crazy evening, they typically have some pretty crazy beers. So my understanding is that, well, certainly all the ones I could find, the beers are different every year. I don't even think it's the same style every year.
No.
And again, from my homework, I found a video of Larry at the 2018 Eccentric Day when he said that the first Eccentric Ale was brewed in 1990 and the first Eccentric Day was 1991. So it looks like, and he also said that the beers usually have some age on them before they go on tap.
Okay.
So chances are that most of these beers probably have a year on tap, or a year in the barrel, or whatever it is before they make it out to the general public.
So the back of the bottle says, in the 3 of the 4 years that we have here, so I'll just read this. It says, a rare ale that's specially brewed to bring out your inner self or reveal the side of you that doesn't get out much, or release the part of you that would never show up at the office. So that said, there's some pretty crazy shit in these bottles. We have no idea what's in 2002. If anybody watching knows what's in 2002 or can find, you can post it. But with 2002, we're going to play Guess That Beer, because we have no idea. But with the 3, 4, and 5,
we at least have some, because at least with 3, 4, and 5, they actually have a little description of the beer on the bottom. But
yeah.
2002, it's just a vanilla label with your little flying man on it.
Yep. So I don't know. I mean, there's no need to pour them all into a vertical. I think we just work through them because they're all different.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll start with 2002, and
then in the end we pour all 4 together and do a little.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I told John Mallett last week. Did we talk to John? 2 weeks ago. I told John that I poured all the planets together once and made a solar system, and no snap out of that. And it was good. It was actually, I liked it better than the individuals. So who's to say? Wow, it's red. So we'll pour this 2002. No carbonation. It's red. It smells sweet.
Just as an example, I think that it was back in maybe like 2018 or 19 or something like that. Their Eccentric Ale was like a Malort barrel aged pizza beer. So that's the kind of shit that like you find in these things.
Yeah, the 14 and the 20 we've got there, they've got some pretty exotic sounding descriptors to it.
One of these has horseradish in it, doesn't it?
No, I think that might have been that was the 14 or the 20, I think.
Okay.
Brandon Edwards did a better Google search than you, apparently. He says he's really good at like stalking.
Hold on then. Wait. No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm
No.
supposed to read this. All right.
I
I really didn't read it. I really didn't.
All right. Let's see what we think. Let's see if Brandon's found it. That's awesome. I can't read it from here.
There's nothing objectionable, nothing jumping at me on the nose.
I'm getting some kind of like dark fruit on the nose, maybe.
I think I'm only smelling my beard oil now.
That's it's like a barley wine or an old ale or something for the base. That's what it tastes like.
I'm getting sarsaparilla, Horak, some kind of old root
Okay.
spice.
Yeah, they're usually spiced or herbed with something.
Yeah.
And then something not it's not my beer.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of that probably mellowed out. It tastes sort of just like an old barley wine to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't get much of.
I feel like I'm getting some
Anything
spice.
else?
I'm getting it's more on the like the post nasal.
Almost a wee bit cinnamon or
Yeah. I feel like I'm still getting that root beer, old root beer or bad root beer.
Okay.
But then just this really unpleasant bitter of old spice.
not the
Not the
aftershave.
aftershave. No, go for it.
Although, now you mention it,
Oh yeah, it's very aftershavy.
Oh yeah.
it's a little
Just
bit
the
old,
taste that's sitting in my mouth right now. I can totally see that.
it's a little bit Old Spice,
Ah.
All right, what does Brandon say?
but in a good way.
Google search says Eccentric Ale 2002 by Bell's Brewery is a spiced herb beer, which has a rating of 3.6 out of 5 with 94 ratings. So that didn't actually help. He said,
Yeah, thanks, Brandon.
Also found this general comment about 2003 is an older herb and spice style beers brewed by yeah. So nothing really specific.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know it's in 2003. 2003 is pumpkin, squash, sweet potato, and natural flavors. So 2003 is a whole bunch of shit. I mean, nasty in my opinion.
I'm a little scared what it means by natural flavors because that could be anything. But
My tongue feels tingly.
It does. Medicinally, it's very medicinal.
so you say there's cocaine in it.
It brings out your not you self. Yeah. I feel like beer regulations were maybe a little bit different back then.
Yes, we're not saying that there's cocaine in it, please.
It's very medicinal, but I think almost any old spiced beer you're gonna get that like
Old Spice.
old spiced beer. I mean, it's like how coffee turns to like black pepper. I think just some of these old roots and spices after time. Green pepper.
I will say that it's a good tasting cracker right now.
That's a good idea. It might be I'm going to finish this.
I haven't dumped it and mixed it out like you did, so it's there.
Oh, I forgot to save that for my.
Oh, you have the rest of it. So, all right. I'm gonna check into.
Oh yeah, that's mine.
2003. Same thing. I feel like we've got the same kind of base going on
colors
here.
look similar.
Very, very red beer.
Jordan's in the chat. He says cheers. Cheers, Jordan.
Cheers, Jordan. Yeah.
Oh, I've got some bits in that one. I wonder if it's got EBV in it. No, I thought they had to.
You say bits isn't like floaters?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
no,
floaters.
yeah, I've got floats in there.
Perfect.
It looks like there's a good line on the bottom too. So
There's more like sinkers in there, but yeah.
I love getting the last pour after it's flipped up and down twice.
You were more careful with it. Well, I guess you were forewarned. I just don't sound like a twat. Oh, I know. I guess I was trying to read the bottle. I wasn't paying attention before.
It smells the same.
it does.
This is the 03.
This is the 03, which is according to the front of the bottle. Ale brewed with pumpkin, squash, sweet potatoes, and natural flavors.
So maybe not so much a barley wine. It's just like because maybe at this point it's just like an old ale.
Well, by definition, yes. Considering I don't typically care for squash, particularly squashing beer.
It tastes the same as O2 to me. I feel like a lot of that is maybe aged out.
Oh,
No?
So really didn't like it.
that's even more medicinal than O2.
You think?
I think so. I'm not even going to go back in for another.
That's Shane. I
God damn it, I have
arguably
to.
bad palate.
I have to. No, that was a very offensive first.
I'll go back for a second. Go on, I ain't gonna kill you.
It's a little more acidic. Maybe.
No. No. You know, I'm not a big fan of. Oh.
You can see like the botulism like floating at the top of the wings.
No, you got it in the bottom there, buddy.
I think we should also say legally that we don't think there's actually botulism.
No, yes.
just in case it's a noise.
To me, it tastes very similar to O2. Old ale, barley wineish.
Yeah.
I don't get squash or anything.
I can't say that I get any other flavors it lists on the bottle. I just get
Depends on what the natural flavors are.
true natural, whatever that medicinal. I just get it's really strongly aspirin-y almost to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't. It's not a pleasant flavor to me.
I'm sure some of the gunk that you swirled up into the cup didn't help with that.
If it
Might have got some
weren't in my
top side,
basement, I
like,
would have
yeast or
spit it
something
out.
like that.
So, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
That's my house. There you go.
Not excited about the Eccentric so far. Right
Well, the
on.
next one is a malt beverage.
The next one's malt beverage. Oh, this one's honey and maple syrup.
Honey, maple syrup, and the ubiquitous natural flavors.
Oh, this one has carbonation.
All right.
Sorry. Sounds like a graveyard up here now.
A little darker, still kind of reddish brown.
Oh. So,
Much darker.
also, the last one got my fingers a wee bit sticky, so. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that.
Still sweet.
It's got maple syrup and honey in it, so.
It does. So let me change that. Oh, so it's still sweet.
Oddly enough, with the nose the size of mine, I'm really bad at smelling things.
I wish we could like get some bubbles up in here to.
Oh, I got some bubbles.
Yeah.
It does.
There's a wee bit
It
of
has
carbonation.
a little bit of carbonation.
I've got some surface activity.
This is 04?
Yes. Oh, for honey and maple with
It's a lot
natural
sweeter.
flavors.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's less of that kind of medicinal
Wow.
cinnamon type.
That's actually
Thing
quite.
going on.
That's super good, actually.
No, that one instantly better. The 03 I literally wanted to like get it out of my mouth. And this one is quite good.
So it still has that like barley wine old flavor, old ale taste to it. It sort of has. There's like
I
a.
should pay Jason to chug a glass. You'll be in a bed to chug a
Everybody
glass.
loves your reactions. Yeah.
I'm not drunk enough to take that challenge yet. This is
We'll mix these four in and we'll set up like a
We'll do like a GoFundMe, a fundraiser
GoFundMe.
for.
now we don't have like the Drew Jacobs store page to put that out there. $50 and Jason will chug it.
That was a terrible night. I don't know if I've said this on air before, but I don't remember like the last half hour of that episode. I went back and watched the last half hour, just like me staring at the camera, like smiling and nodding a lot. I don't know if I ever really talked.
Do you remember the Malort shot? Like,
Maybe.
you don't really remember
No.
taking it? I mean, that's a
I know
good
my
thing.
bottle's lower.
Well, I mean, no, it's a
All
good
my
thing
bottles
if
are lower.
you didn't have to remember taking that nasty shit shot.
Somebody got didn't somebody get like a signed Drew Jacobs shirt for that too or something? Or
Yeah, so they paid $60 for Brian to take a Malort shot and get the shirt off of Drew's back signed and mailed to him.
They said he was going to sleep in.
And it was mailed to some chick in Texas.
Okay.
I dropped $60 to watch your drunk ass do a shot of the world's worst whiskey. And really, it was to get Drew Jacobs' shirt.
It's so worth it.
So.
Yeah. Brandon Edwards, he ended up paying some money for something.
$3 or
Yeah.
well, $3 per shot of whatever.
And, I tried to stick to my guns on that. Hopefully, if anybody's watching and they paid, hopefully we did it. I don't remember.
Hopefully you're entertained. Might not be informed, but entertained.
I don't get the maple so much. The more I drink this, the more metallic-y kind of it is, or something. Honey is a weird flavor too. Like maple and honey, when they ferment out, they're like.
I think it's got
a lot
that,
of sweetness. There's like those are hard flavors to it.
but I think it's got that body of honey. Like honey is like, it's got this like thickness to it that reminds me of honey.
Hint of honey.
Yeah, I brewed a really bad.
Somebody shouting honey from the next room over.
Just whispers honey in his ear as he's drinking it.
No, I brewed one of the second beer I ever brewed. I brewed this hoppy red ale and threw a couple pounds of honey in it I would say by mistake, but I made a mistake and I threw a couple pounds of honey in it.
How the fuck do you accidentally throw 3 pounds of honey into something?
Whatever, you know. Anyway, it went off. It was supposed to be like a 6% beer. It turned out to be like a 13% beer. It never fully fermented, never carbonated. And
Probably submitted it for nationals and got gold.
I did not, but I did keep a case of it, and I tried it last year, and this is what it reminds me of.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
just this really old, red rye kind of. Maybe it's got rye in it.
Rye? Okay.
Yeah, some of that rye characteristics and old honey.
Beta-glucans.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I like this out of the eccentrics that we ranked. This is definitely.
The top.
If we were ranking the three of them, this one.
This is definitely more different than the first two.
Mhm. Yeah.
For sure.
And I'm disappointed I don't get like pepperoni or anything in it, but it's how old, it's 16 years old. So.
Yeah, the more I'd go back to it, the more I get honey.
Yeah, the maple and the honey would be.
I finished it, so speaks to
I'm going
that
to
at
finish
least.
Yeah.
Nothing has physically made me want to it hasn't triggered my gag reflex yet. I have had beers that have triggered my gag reflex.
The onion and
That didn't.
Oh, it didn't.
It's from a Michigan brewery that I'm not going to name that I had at one of their festivals, but it was brewed with bacon. I guess. Who knows? I don't know. It was supposed to be a bacon beer. And I think I've said this on here before. Like I couldn't finish it. It was one of the few beers that I've actually dumped because I was going to puke. I was going to throw up at the festival. Not because I was drunk, but because this thing.
that was later.
Yeah.
Did you actually try the bean soup beer? It had meat in it, so I didn't know if you.
Did try a wee bit. I put it in my mouth.
Okay.
And then I turned around and spat it out.
Okay.
And then laughed at these two because they had to. These two, there was you and someone else that.
I think it was Jordan.
Were you Jordan?
I think so.
I think so. I think you guys did go over there and do it. I mean, I did it a couple of times. I'll actually have to say that every time I did it, I was surprised. If anybody's listening from Lapeer that did it, I think it was Lapeer area
You're
brewers.
right on the corner there, yeah.
But anyway, whoever did it, I mean, it had everything that they called out on it. It was beans.
It was definitely as described, yeah.
It was garlic. It was onions. It was oregano. It was everything. And that I found it was just interesting to. I wouldn't say it was a gag inducing, but it was interesting to taste all those flavors.
I really wonder what it would have been like if they would have served it warm.
True. Maybe it didn't have meat in it. Maybe it.
I don't think it did.
I don't remember having meat in it, but the meat wasn't one of the descriptors that year. So
All right. No, I'll finish this too.
finished.
Now, Brian and I are still going to figure out someday how to brew our our roast beef.
Jus.
Juice.
Juice.
Juice, the roast beef New England IPA.
Yeah, it's good.
Oranges and roast beef. We'll figure it out.
We've been plotting this for years on and off.
It would have been really good if you'd have plotted out during COVID, and I wouldn't have even had the chance.
This might be a Michigan Homebrew Festival special release or something.
Or wait for COVID too.
Yeah. Maybe 2022 or something.
I mean,
that's one of those beers that it's.
I think we need a lot.
It deserves some time to come up with a recipe. You got to do it justice.
Yeah, it'll simmer. All right, 2005 is an ale brewed with natural flavors. That's it, right?
Right, as descriptions go, it's pretty vanilla. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna taste these natural flavors. Still the same theme, So I know in later bottles
It starts to get a lot more
that they did start changing, but I wonder
exotic.
in the beginning if they were just.
Some plastic use.
Oh, we went from squashes out to other fermentable sugars.
Sure.
So you went from spice herb vegetable to the alternative fermentable.
Yeah.
So you've at least crossed BJCP guidelines.
But the base recipe seems to be very similar.
Slightly, yeah.
I smell those natural flavors.
The colors is it's more similar to the 2004 than the previous one.
It's pretty crystal. Well, no, okay, it's clearly brown, or deepish, very deep red, like kind of brown, but it's a beautifully clear beer.
The aroma isn't nearly as sort of like oxidized ale smelling. Like those older ones, the 2002 and 2003, remind me of some of my, and this is. Again, I'm sure it's just because they're so old, but it reminds me of some of my very first homebrew where like something wasn't quite finished. Like maybe there was like it just has that particular sort of like smell to it. Like like you tasted some of these beers like the first couple times they homebrewed, they all just have that particular smell.
Yeah.
It's like sort of a sickly, sweet, malty like character to it, and those sort of had it. But I think it's because like there's no more carbonation. It's all aged out. All you can smell is like alcohol and like
you aren't going to get volatiles off it.
Yeah, this has a bit of brightness to it more than that. Like it still smells sweet. Almost has like a vanilla on the nose.
I was thinking that.
I just get candy, like candy sugar, rock candy.
Yeah,
The cotton candy. Yeah,
Belgian candy.
this is way sweeter and way lighter.
It's just it's sweet. It's very sweet and sugary.
When you eat rock candy, like sometimes it leaves that feeling in your throat. I don't know how to describe it, but this
I have to Google rock candy, see if it's the same as what I'm thinking of.
It's like a cane sugar sort of like taste or something.
Well,
yeah, but I just want to make sure it's the same things I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I was thinking of this, and this reminds me of like the Belgian brewers candy.
Sure. Yeah.
Candy sugar
or sugar or something.
Yeah, it's Belgian kind of that you would buy at the homebrew store. It's rock candy.
Yeah, but the beer doesn't have. To me, it doesn't have the Belgian characteristics. You don't get.
No, you're right. It's got that dark brown sugar. You know what?
Yeah, kind of caramelized. Oh shit! I'm just waiting for.
No, Demerara. It reminds me of Demerara sugar almost.
Yeah.
So.
For a second, I thought you were about to reach your top shelf. It's a wee bit early in the day for that, dude.
You're in a Demerara. What is it? Demerara
Sugar. So this is ground up rock candy, basically. Demerara or a cane sugar. It's got that very naturally sweet brown.
Oh, okay. It's a little molasses-y.
He might look odd, but he's not wrong.
That's just what it reminded me of.
I think you might be close there with the molasses as well. I think
molasses, but not like molasses has a bitter flavor often.
If you get the
from the cook,
if you get the really dark stuff,
the black strap.
You get the lighter stuff, almost like the kind of golden syrup type. But
I mean, this isn't bad at all. Too sweet to like drink a bunch of, but
If Tim was watching, I'd do something there. But
I'll watch on the repeat maybe. Or
it's too late now. The moment's passed.
yeah.
I think Joe called it right as we were talking about it. Probably he says molasses.
Yeah, it just reminds me of it's just a bunch of probably unattenuated natural sugars.
I wonder how much of it's unattenuated or how much of it's added
Post.
Sure.
Because there was no carbonation on it, and there's really no carbonation, so that it could have been stabilized and sweetened.
I doubt any of these are stabilized. Probably they either hit like their ABV tolerance and puttered out, or
True.
Yeah, everything's going to be about 11 or 12%, aren't they?
I think so.
Even though they haven't had the ABV on any of them yet. I think when I looked on at Beer Advocate and Untapped earlier, everything was saying it was about anywhere between 11 and 13, depending on who you asked.
Sure.
I don't know where anybody got those numbers from because
Yeah.
I kind of couldn't find anything online about it.
Yeah, definitely favorite. I mean, that's when I would split with people again and again. Probably. I wouldn't want a whole bottle. I don't want a whole bottle of most things that are like 12, 13, 14%. But
Out of the 4 eccentric ales, I think that one was the best.
I agree. I like that one the most. It was the most unique, at least.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I don't. I'm not the biggest barley wine fan in the world. I'll drink them, but like, it's not my gig.
I'm not at all. Actually, it's the one style I don't think I'll ever order. I'll never. The only time I'm going to try it is in a situation like this or at Homebrew Fest where somebody comes up to me and says, "Try my barley wine."
Sure. Yeah.
Or a meeting or something, but I don't. And we laugh because I just put one in. I put an old DIPA in the Nationals as an American barley wine.
It really did taste like one.
Well, if you again, sticking with the theme of the evening about old old Bell's beer, about I think it was whatever year it was that Hopsland first made its way into cans generally. So probably about 5 years ago or something. We had a sixer of Hopsland from like 2 or 3 years previously.
Yeah.
And we tried it, and it was a really delicious barley wine. Now it's the double IPA with honey, like might be what it says on the label, but ain't that anymore. So you will get some age put some lines on all of us.
Well, and that's where the older the beer gets and the hop characteristic falls out of it. But the it leaves those, especially brewing like a double like hop slam with the honey. There's enough adjuncts there that are going to carry it through. Mm-hmm. The hops are going to mute, and you're going to get this sweeter, maltier.
Which is kind of what we get. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what that tasted like fresh.
I'd really like to know what was in the natural flavors, like what was in that one, because it felt like he was just going with like molasses or
even
sorghum
or
maple.
There's something else sweet in there that.
Yeah. So we have a choice. We can go cherry stout. We can go a couple more eccentric ales, or back into the Expedition Stouts. What are we at on time here? How long have we been doing this?
Yeah, we've been up for about 50 minutes now.
Yeah, we can do another set.
Yeah. I mean, you tell us in chat for whoever is like watching, actually awake or whatever.
Eccentric ales, Expedition Stouts, or cherry stout.
It did taste like turbinado sugar a lot too. Yeah.
Turbinado, Demerara, the same kind of thing.
I use that in my double IPAs sometimes to dry it out a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, it was. It's that very dark, rich sugar. That's what it tasted like. It was good. Where is it? Do you have a 2005 down there?
So wait a minute. This is 3.
So we'll see. Yeah, here's a 5. We'll see if anybody has anything to say in chat. And what are the years?
2, 3, 4, 5.
No, maybe. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, what do you think, Sam? They use for what we're drinking or what's coming up?
So yeah, the eccentrics we had were 2, 3, 4, 5, and we got 14 and 20.
Yeah, for the up and coming, I have an 01, 08, and 09 cherry stout. So big jump in years there, but a 20-year-old cherry stout. For Expedition Stouts, we have 6, 7, and 8. And then for Eccentric Ales, we could actually go newer with 2014 and 2020.
And the 2020 it's a collaboration with Gigantic Brewing. And I'm either going to have to check or somebody out there more knowledgeable than me will tell us where Gigantic Brewing are based out of, because the bottle doesn't say.
Yep.
Oh, Portland. It does say.
Okay.
Portland, Maine or Portland, Oregon?
So the interesting thing with the cherry that I tried before was it went really, really well with the chocolate donut, which I did buy chocolate donuts. So
I brought them down. I ate one already.
let's do that.
That's what cherry.
Okay. All right.
So we have 01, 08, and 09. And so I'd actually be interested in this one because I've had 08. This 4-pack had two 08s.
Mhm.
And the 08 was delicious. So if this 08 is shit, then it really kind of highlights that differences in bottles and such. So sorry for the noise.
Yeah.
Right next to the microphone. Sorry.
Try to grab some extra cups. All right, so we'll go oldest and newest. So this is a 20-year-old cherry stout. Little bit of snap to it. Super dark, super rich, super red dark. Like the color on it's just awesome.
Like the color of a cherry.
Yeah. Why don't you pass that box there down, Brian?
Oh, you want a donut?
I just want an excuse to eat a donut.
They're very rich. They're like devil's food cake donuts.
You know, but it was the thing behind it was the chocolate.
I'll take one, yeah. I'll have half one.
The chocolate went really well with the cherry. The combination was really neat when we did it.
You have one?
I had one earlier. I'm full. Unless you want to split that, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So this one, much older. So get the fruit on the nose.
You said you're gonna take half.
You did.
I bisected it. I didn't properly bisect
This
it.
is half a donut for David's.
Well, I snapped it and split it into it, but I wasn't. I was going to be geometrically precise about it.
So the cherry's definitely there still on the nose.
Not so much on the flavour.
No. I'll have to try again instead.
No, this one's a little. Again, I get that dark malt bitter, charcoaly.
I'm getting the charcoal. The cherries, there's definitely something there. And if you'd have asked me what's that flavour, I'd have gone, but no, it's a cherry stout. I'm like, oh yeah, the cherry's definitely there.
This is a one cherry?
This is the one. The cherry is definitely a feature of this. It's not a.
No. The color was beautiful, like the rubiness. I think
Oh yeah.
I get it more in the nose, and the flavor is kind of off. Yeah.
Where is that flavor?
Rotten fruit.
It's not like so bad. It's just
No, but it's actually a lot better after a wee bit of the double chocolate.
really.
It kind of brings out the fruit.
Really brings it through now.
Yeah.
It has a light, more of like a cherry juice flavor rather than like a deep, rich cherry. Did you ever try any of that cherry dessert mead that I made?
It does say it's stout brewed with cherry juice.
Juice. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, these two do.
Okay.
I had the ballot.
Maybe that's how they all are. I don't know.
The Balaton cherry and the vanilla Balaton that you made? Yeah.
Yes, brewed from barley malt and cherry juice.
So maybe it's just missing something that like the skins of the cherries like bring to the table or something like that. It does very much have like a juice flavor.
Yeah.
Not that I have anything against like cherry juice or anything like that. Jason's made there. I can't remember who it is. It might still be King Orchards or something. For a while, Jason bought like a big container, Jason Gladys, of this like tart cherry juice concentrate. He was making things with it. I can't even remember like what all he made with it. At least a couple beers, but they were really good. I mean, you would never have known that it wasn't like fresh cherry or anything like that.
Right.
It was super tasty.
This is not a bad beer by any. There's a slightly kind of the roasty, almost oxidized kind of flavor on it, but it's not nice. It's not a real. After the second glass or after the second mouthful, it's fine. It's really pleasant.
I finished it. I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
So
Accidentally.
I tell people like. I catch myself doing that. Like, if the beer's like at least like okay or whatever, like I'll drink it while talking and set it down and keep drinking it without really paying attention to it and not analyzing it. And I think it was at least good enough to do that.
Yep. I'm going to get another glass of wine. Apologies, I'm going right next to the microphone.
It's not as bright. It's very muted. It's aged. Like this one, it's fine.
This is 8.
This is okay. So I'm talking about the 01 was kind of it just fell off. The 8 I've had an 8 before recently. The 8 was delicious. Ryan's actually got carbonation from you did a hard pour, relatively hard pour.
There's cherry in this.
Yeah,
there's cherry on the nose.
So this was back in like late November, early December when I had the first 08, and it was great. Like I was drunk, so who knows?
You're still 08 then?
Yeah. Still cherry.
Yeah, there's cherry. There she is.
So that's bright and tart.
Yeah.
It's so much more tart than the 01.
And just the richness is still there.
That was a donut is awesome.
Yeah, this one we were sitting around. We were watching a football game. We had this one. We had a box of like Sweetwater's donut holes, and it was like, oh, try it with a chocolate donut hole. It was great.
Holy shit, that's completely different with the chocolate.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? Yeah. I went to a Founders beer dinner once down at Central City Tat House a long time ago. And for dessert, their pairing was a flourless chocolate cake with raspberry, I think, paired with a KBS. And it was like a completely different experience, like eating that and drinking KBS and just like drinking KBS alone. Like, and granted, that was when like KBS was like, whoa, like so crazy, yeah. Like nobody does barrel aged beers. But something about the tartness from like raspberries and cherries and stuff like that with like strong like dark stouts like.
Well, it makes everything taste very much like a kind of Black Forest Gouda. You get the strong dark chocolate. You get those, the cherry and everything from the fruit. There's a reason that Germans have been making that cake forever.
Yeah. No, this is still. I would say if you pick up cherry stout, I wouldn't be afraid to let it age 10 years. It's fine. Like
or even 13 years.
13 years.
I don't really get any like oxidized like characteristics or anything like that. Maybe a touch. I don't know. Like,
but the other flavors they're still so. The other flavors are still so strong.
Yeah, definitely.
That to try to pick out any oxidized flavors, you're either super sensitive to oxidized flavors, or you're trying to. It may well be there, but everything else there is still, as you said, it's still so bright but I wouldn't be picking up anything that. Yeah, I don't pick up anything from this that I would say would be it's a fault or a flaw to it.
If this was
No.
still this year's cherry stout, I'd be happy with it.
Yeah, I think out of everything that we tried tonight, this is the one that I wouldn't know was aged if you didn't tell me it was aged. Like,
Well, I don't know. You know, if we were able to try this against whatever the most recent cherry stout was, you know, there may be a world. I haven't seen cherry stout for a while, but
I still have some whiskey barrel aged cherry stouts, but that's I don't have anything.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
actually do
slight
have
taste.
some whiskey barrel aged cherry stout upstairs, which is delicious on its own, but it
You know,
wouldn't compare to this.
that's comparing apple to whiskey barrel aged apples.
It's really good though. Did you try any of it?
Yeah.
I'll find one for you, man. It was fucking tasty. All right. So yeah, I mean, this holds up. This matches the 08 that I drank before. I think it's great. It's good beer.
So in the one instance that you have of the bottle to bottle variability, there isn't.
Mhm.
In 08. Yeah, it's a data set of one, but
Right.
it's just more of a data point, I guess.
I was gonna say it's more than any of the other ones that we've had.
I know we've had two. We could have done 2 4s on the
True. On the
Expo.
expos. But well, I mean, and Brian has a 95, a 4, 5, and 6 too.
Oh, okay.
At the expos.
I do. Yeah, we'll
Take those to a keepers meeting.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Sorry, StreamYard freaked me out for a second. Like it says we've been live for a minute and 50 seconds now, but I think it's just because the timer cuts off because the screen's a little smaller. So
Oh, no.
it's been an hour a minute.
I was wondering if perhaps because the computer's on
Central time.
Central Time,
Yeah.
and so he probably thinks that.
Well, nobody's like talked in chat for a minute too. I'm like, oh god, did we freeze up? Like,
Brandon,
just,
say
like,
something.
talking to
Yeah,
to the air.
yeah. Put your hand up if you can hear us.
Whatever. We don't need them. We're fine on our own.
Yeah, we're gonna do it anyway.
So, 09.
My cheeks are starting to feel a little warm.
Oh, Brandon.
Yeah.
Brandon's still with us.
Thanks, Brandon.
After this, we can stay with this old thing. I'm sure I can break out some like 12-year-old Scotch or bourbon. We can kick this shit right up gear.
Do you have any way to like? Weren't people experimenting with aging like liquors and beers and stuff using like micro frequencies or something like that at one point in time? Like,
now you're reaching, man.
you just turn up the bass, you can start a party, stick some like Jack on top of your subwoofer.
You're fucking civvy.
I have some 7-year-old meat that I could pull a sample of, and I have a 2-year-old lambic on tap.
So it's funny you say that, and I still have bottles, and I can't wait to share them with you. Shane and I were downstairs while I was bottling and doing like meat stuff last night, and I got like drunk because it's what you
You're doing beer chores.
Yeah, beer chores, and I went upstairs and I stuck 2 of my very first meads in the fridge to share with somebody at some point in time, and I remembered they were in there, and I'm like, let's crack these open, like. Yeah, and this was, I think they were from 2016, which is roughly when I started homebrewing anyway. Didn't know anything about like nutrients, didn't know anything about making mead, didn't know anything about temperature control or water or anything. It was just honey, water, yeast, stopper, airlock.
Yep.
Have fun. I'll drink it later. I could have cleaned the bathroom with it easily. Like it was
Fantastic.
not pleasant. So it's nice to be humbled a little bit and understand how far you've come along sometimes. Shana consistently likes to remind me of my very first beer that I tried alone, which was like a chocolate banana porter or something like that.
Because as a
Started
brand new home
exploding,
brewer,
yeah.
you need to jump right into bananas.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
So I
Right,
watched.
I at least left it until my fifth or sixth beer before I jumped into
You have
bananas.
a terrible banana story too.
I do have a banana story.
I watched Jordan brew one time, and I obviously knew what I was doing after that. So yeah, I hopped right
As a
in.
new home brewer, and I'm not going to say that I'm better than this because I made the same mistake, but my lesson or our lesson out to new home brewers should be when you're deciding what beer you should brew and you decide banana is a good idea, think about how many banana beers you see other breweries doing. And when you can't remember one or recall one,
Punch yourself in the face and brewed it. And brewed
Right.
another beer. Yeah.
exactly. Maybe there's a reason why there aren't a plethora of banana beers on the market.
It's because people don't enjoy wearing them.
Oh man.
Sam, I think that might have been one of his wedding beers. I think it was like pink peppercorn or something. If it's on a really small bottle, that might be what it is. She found one of our friends' like very first meads too.
So my first mead was 8 years ago, I think, at this point. And same thing. All the honey, a little bit of water, yeast, fuck it. And I give that little yeast credit because it got it up to like 13% before it died a horrible death.
And then left all of its flavor in them.
And then there's still, I think it's still measured out at like 1.13 or something. Like, just ridiculously sweet. So basically, I think my recipe was something like 4 gallons of honey and 2 gallons of water and a couple of packets of yeast. Yeah, it was abysmal. So then I was like, well, I can fix this and I'll brew a really dry mead. So I went and I brewed, like a 1-aught mead, 5%, very low sugar, no sugar, and blended them together to think maybe it'll balance out. Well, that didn't happen. So then I was like, well, fuck it. Maybe I'll throw it on fruit because fruit can hide a lot of mistakes. So I put it on 10 pounds of Michigan tart cherries last year. And it's still sitting back in the thing. It's 7 gallons of whatever meat abomination I have.
If that doesn't work, hop it next.
Yeah. One thing you
My
do,
thought was to distill it.
one thing you do to hide a lot of those flavors would be add like smoked malts to it.
Yeah.
Just smut malt?
Smoked.
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 What's a smutty malt?
It's going to taste like ass anyway. Why not just throw some smoked malt in it?
You can have that one for free. I'm just helping solutions, mate.
This is the 09 we got now.
Yeah. 09.
Yeah, we kind of got a bit off topic there.
that's the
That's the
tagline
key.
for our show if we had one. Yeah.
Michigan Brews, we start talking about something then.
Brandon says, just dump some of that liquid smoke crap right in there.
So this is shit. I don't know if we've talked about it on air. I feel like I'm slurring my words a little bit already. But I hate smoked beer. David knows I hate smoked beer. Fuck smoked beer. Most anything can eat a dick.
Smoke a dick.
Smoke a dick. 9 doesn't seem as bright.
It's not. I was just going to say as bright. And I was right.
Yeah. 9 is kind of boring.
Yeah.
Wow. There's something about 8 that was
It
just.
was a magic year.
Yeah. Oh, 8. What? No. Oh, 8. I think. She's watching. Fuck it. I think 08's the year I got married.
I think.
We'll wait like for the 30-second delay and listen upstairs.
Yeah.
That's right, they're not paying attention. You'd have heard something by now.
Yeah. But no, it's boring.
It's fine,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine, but it's not as special as I like.
Yeah.
The 08 was very bright, very tart, cherry forward. And this is very muted. This is just kind of like a stout.
Yeah, that hint of cherry thing again.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than a hint, but after a weight that was very cherry forward.
Still better than 01.
It's a fine stout.
Yeah.
It's a fine cherry stout, just a 08 was more cherry.
Yeah.
The cherry stout, if I don't taste cherry, I'm gonna be a wee bit miffed.
So what? We're 10 bottles in. Is this it? Are we done? You know, opening more?
Absolutely.
Oh, fuck. What are we
1,
gonna do?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
But we got 5 left. We start. I don't know.
Is that all we have? Is 5?
No, we've got 4.
We've got 4 more Expedition Stouts and 2 Eccentric ales.
Oh yeah, when we started off with the 15, I didn't count the cherry stouts.
Yeah. What's this one?
That's the one that was. So that would be the 14.
This is a 15.
Well, it's bottling 15, so
Bottling
it's a 14.
15, so it's a 14.
Didn't it say 14 on the front? No, but I'm assuming 'cause as it was bottling 15, it's a 14.
It's a 14. So we have
14's in use. We can go with that.
4 is double. We have 2 4s. Or we just have bourbon.
I'd at least like to try one of the more eccentric.
I can tell what you're feeling.
Okay.
So let's do the
Fine.
eccentrics.
14,
Well, we
14,
can.
20, both of them?
The 14 is the one with the peppercorn and. Wasn't it? Hang on, that's all 14.
Oh, that's got the horseradish. I do want to try
14
that.
has got juniper, ginger, caraway seeds, coriander, maple syrup, molasses, horseradish root, and chestnut chips.
Yes, sir.
So that's 14. 20. This one, I'll be careful I don't say titted, but
This isn't a family show.
okay. Honey, nutmeg, ginger, Vietnamese cinnamon, dried apricots, orange zest, rice hulls, cherries and fruit cake aged in brandy barrels with dried pitted dates and raisins.
And tits.
And titties, yeah.
Why list rice hulls?
I was just going to
As an
ask that.
ingredient.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
A completely neutral.
They do say rice hulls, yes. I wasn't making it up.
I mean, rice hulls is added to mashes to help with drainage. So, which I get it with all of that fruit and shit in there, especially if they were putting any of this in the mash.
Maybe it's like 50% rice hull.
Or perhaps it's just to help us homebrewers out there if you want to
That's
do a clone of it. Oh, and to any homebrewers out there, as we've been talking so much about bells tonight, they do actually have the Expedition Stout as a kit. So if you want to, you can make Expo any day of the week.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yep.
I guess that makes sense. They have like Hopsline and all their others.
But Expo, I haven't checked in a while, but last time I know that Blair at least bought one of the Expo kits, and last time I was there about 4 or 5 months ago, and it was there. So if you want to make Expo, you can do it at home.
Yeah.
Brandon says maybe it's part of labeling rules.
Maybe. I mean, I just don't understand why, though.
Yeah, but how can you get away with natural flavors? They're not telling us what the natural flavors is.
And then rice hulls,
That's
which
fair.
add nothing, and
Yeah.
impart nothing. All right. 14.
If you don't know anything about beer, then it's like maybe.
Yeah, well, rice hulls are exotic.
Yeah. I've never cooked with that before.
I'll tell you what.
It's not just regular rice, it's got the hulls.
The first time that you're scooping out your entire mash tun with a fucking bowl and trying to like sieve it through a colander or something,
The last time I made a rye wine was a miserable brew day. I used rice hulls, but not nearly as enough.
you get your first good stuck mash and
Yeah.
you'll learn what the fuck a rice hull is.
My amazing wife has quite happily run to me. Well, not happily, but she has run to Bell's and picked up a couple of pounds of rice hulls for me when I'm halfway through a mash and went, oh fuck, I didn't add any rice hulls to it. I think it's probably less hassle for her to drive to Bell's,
Yeah.
pick up a wine, go to rice hulls so I can mash out properly, rather than hear me effing and blinding in the garage, in the kitchen garden, upsetting all the neighbours because.
I did my
Stuck mash.
my very first stuck mash. I drained my mash tun. I scooped my mash tun out into a
I'm not
bucket.
in there for that.
No, that was alone because I was swearing a storm. Yeah. But I took my favorite kitchen colander drainer and I cut it because I thought if I built a a straining vessel or space around the spigot of my mash tun, like a false bottom, that I would be able to get this to work. And so I literally cut into one of my favorite kitchen utensils to try to save this damn beer, because in the moment I thought that was a good idea. It didn't work. I got pissed off. An hour later, I dumped the whole fucking thing in the trash. The whole beer is gone. Screw it. And my colander. Yeah. Yeah.
That's painful, man.
Rice hulls. Buy rice hulls, kids.
Yes.
Or just brew in a bag. Like
Rice hulls cost nothing.
Right.
Brian Valier is watching, actually. He says that he spoke at Cellar.
There you go.
Age as well, which makes sense. He's super hoppy. I think a lot of like Russian Imperial stouts are like that, super hoppy to start off with. Age a little bit.
Oh, Brian, since he's watching, I agreed to do, and Brian, I agreed to do the Brewing for Homebrew competition presentation for Bob on the 16th, which is a Monday. Would you like to go with me?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for the invite.
It's like he's asking him to prom.
I'm the one that like put the entire thing on the website at least. I know you put together the majority of it for the PowerPoint. So
wow,
it's some give and take here.
I was calling you out there to say that we co-authored it together, but now you're getting all fucking I did this and I did that. Whatever. So it's a Monday night. Michigan Brews will either be live from Final Gravity if we figure out how to do that remote, or else there just won't be a show.
Oh, that's the 12th. 12th on Monday.
I don't know, Brian. When did you ask me to do it? Whatever night, it's a Monday.
Chris wants the 12th. That's the day I'm supposed to be going to.
Yeah, it's the 12th.
Yeah, it's the day I'm supposed to go to Kansas.
So we're gonna go to Final Gravity.
Kalamazoo.
Final Gravity Kalamazoo on the 12th to do a presentation that Brian and I wrote together because he's sensitive.
Co-authored.
And co-authored. And if we can figure out how to go live from Final Gravity, we'll do that. If not, then there's no show that night.
Perhaps you can make that your show.
That's what I said.
Is it? You weren't very clear about it.
Okay.
Well, perhaps I'm just drunk. That's not this.
Cheers. 2014. Whatever the fuck it is.
This is the one with the
This has got horseradish.
Horseradish and caraway seeds and other crazy stuff in there.
You know when you smell something, you're just like
I don't want to drink that.
Like how animals can sometimes tell when things are not
poisonous
edible.
because the way they smell. Yeah.
Like I have a sense that I shouldn't be ingesting this right now. The 19th even. Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We're all just wrong.
No, because the third.
Oh, the
There's
third.
the third. That is the third Monday.
Okay.
According to your calendar
Well, you mean the Gregorian calendar?
here. It's not the Aztec calendar.
The 19th. We'll be there. I'll be there.
I might be there.
You'll be in. Well,
No,
you'll
I should be back.
Kansas?
All
right.
Christ, I won't spend any more than a week in fucking Kansas. Sorry to any Kansasians, Kansasholes, whatever they call
It's
it.
not Kansas Brews. Fuck them.
It's one of those states you never hear about it on the news. Like maybe they have a tornado. Or
There
something.
goes that topic right off. This does not smell good.
I know. I feel like
This is why we talk about other shit so we don't have to drink it.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
You know what it tastes like? It tastes like a headache. It tastes like you drink it and you're just gonna be like, fuck, like I need an aspirin.
But you just sucked on an aspirin at the same time.
That's going right over here.
I mean, I was excited to get horseradish. I do like horseradish.
I love horseradish.
If I would have gotten horseradish,
There's something there that the only way that I could describe it would be horseradish. But it's not straight up somebody's like punching wasabi in your face.
It's like dirty root, not like. Not
it's dirt. It is very earthy and dirty.
Well,
And,
horseradish is. If you have like straight up
Bestest of
horseradish.
best ways.
Yeah, but you've also got like caraway seeds.
The caraway seeds, the chestnut
Coriander.
chips.
chestnut chips or whatever the fuck.
I would like to know, Larry, if you're listening, were you getting high when you made this? I mean, where did I appreciate the Eccentric Day and the whole thing, but this was some
a wee bit too eccentric.
This sounds like our Iron Brew gone wrong, So we did a competition as a club where we like randomly let this computer select ingredients, and it came up with some pretty shit ingredients that we actually had to veto and like re-roll.
It wasn't a computer.
I think you're combining two competitions.
We were literally pulling out of a hat.
Oh no!
That one.
I wrote the program to select it randomly, and you guys didn't like it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You did. I'll find the text. You were
Okay.
like,
Okay,
it's kind of shit.
And then we pulled him out of the hat, and it was still really
Yeah,
shitty.
Yeah, then we pulled him out of that. But that's right. I wrote a spreadsheet that did it automatically, and you guys shit on it.
but my that might be out of the hat. It tastes really nice now. Tastes really, particularly if you're mixing some seltzer water.
Yeah.
Fucking lovely now.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. If you had a better flavour to it, it tastes really nice.
it's good that it tastes nice now, 2 years later.
No, it's a year later, almost on the day.
Is it?
It was March last year that we had the whole March meeting.
I know I won that one.
Yeah, but something else happened during that meeting that was probably more.
Crack that guy open. Let's drink that. And
I don't want this anymore.
no, I don't mind. We can probably end the show after that one. We're all getting drunk and nobody wants to listen to us.
I'm dropping things.
All right, so this is 2020's Eccentric Ale,
Oh, this is different.
It's beautiful. It's clear.
carbonated.
No, that's got the.
Oh
the
no!
rare sugar
Oh my
in it.
god! Okay, that was going to be a bad pour. That's like basically the Terminato sugar I was about to.
Got one of us
One of those guys.
Oh,
I would have had a different experience.
holy cow! It's got a lot going on though.
The aroma still exists, again, because it's new.
So again, this was a honey, nutmeg, ginger, Vietnamese cinnamon, dried apricot, orange zest. We don't talk about the rice hulls, cherries, and fruitcake aged in brandy barrels with dry pitted dates and raisins.
The fruits, I'm getting the fruits off the nose right off.
Like dark fruit.
Dark fruit and the apricot and so you haven't said apricot for the American audience. How's about that?
Was brandy in there?
Brandy's in there.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it's not barely. It is very barrel aged. It's got barrel in it.
Oh, it's barrel like.
Barrel like. This has got wood. This is a brandy barrel. Like,
that brandy aroma is super there.
and the it really comes through in the flavor.
Holy
It's
shit!
it's very spirit.
It's actually more restrained than I thought it would be. Like God, I don't want to call something like that balanced, but it kind of is. Like
Yeah. No, it's definitely. I find it difficult to pull any of those particular flavor descriptors out of it, but they all work together really well. It's like drinking a good gin.
yeah.
Where you'd say, oh yeah, there's definitely botanicals in there, and you get all different flavors out of it. But you don't go, oh my god, it just tastes fucking juicy berries.
I was gonna say instead of this tasting like a beer, it almost reminds me of like a low ABV, like alcoholic, like liqueur or something like that.
Yeah, like a mixed drink kind of
Yeah.
thing.
It was definitely, that's what I meant by the spirit. It's like a spirit. It doesn't
You did
taste
say.
like.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was totally
No, it's
ignoring
okay.
that half of the table.
You guys can all the time.
What do you do?
Right.
Mum and dad are fighting.
It is very much balanced for the list of shit that's in that. It's all kind of.
I'm really tasting the rice hulls.
They just add that special je ne sais quoi, right?
Yeah, it's like the rug. It just really brings them in together.
It has that alcoholic like bite to it though, like it's numbing my tongue a little bit.
But some of that might be because the ginger's going to give you some of that as well.
Okay, all right, yeah.
So you're not wrong, but I think there's also some of the other flavors in it that are also going to bring that kind of like that sharp bite that's going to kind of take your breath away when you're like,
Okay.
there is ginger in there, and there's other
So you're not wrong,
nutmeg,
but you're not right either.
cinnamon. Well, you know me.
Yeah.
I always have to say something contrary because that's kind of what I do. But I at least gave him. I gave him 50%.
You don't have to give him any cookies.
Not my favorite out of the batch, but certainly not.
I really like this. I could quietly drink more of it. As in, I'm going to finish the bottle.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's not the style, and it's got a lot going on. It's not the style that I would like reach for, and it does have a lot going on.
But it's eccentric ale, so you can't tie it, because of the very reasoning behind the eccentric ale. You can't tie it to a certain style really, because it's whatever Larry et al. Decide they're going to do on the day.
Absolutely. No, it's neat. That's for sure. But I still think my favorite of the night is going to be the 08 Cherry.
Gosh, that was really good.
Yeah.
Brandon's got a suggestion for a great sipping gin, the Bronson Park Gin.
Oh, yeah. Kalamazoo Stillhouse.
I'm sorry, the Bronson Park Gin just sounds like you throw a load of drainers together and just drink that and call it a gin.
We can't click on the link in our chat thing here, but
no, Brian, we reached for a couple of vegetable beers. There was the one with all the squash in it. The 03 Eccentric Ale. I've got my notes.
I think he was like fucking with you a little bit, like.
Hey, most of these are vegetables. Okay, that's not
Fruits.
That's not. Honey isn't. Cinnamon's not. Apricot's kind of a vegetable.
Cinnamon's a vegetable. It's tree bark, right? Like
it's not a vegetable.
All right, this is going off the
are trees not
rails.
vegetables?
So
I don't know.
what?
Are trees vegetables?
No.
Why?
Because they don't produce.
Tune into next week for Ask a Botanist.
We'll let Brian Google that shit and direct him some fun
Well,
Wikipedia
with you.
pages.
Yeah. What was my homework for last week? I had to look up
Climate something, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I'll let everyone know why trees are not vegetables next week.
So next week we'll be back with Five Shores Brewing from Beulah, Michigan. We're gonna have their what's that?
Beulah.
Beulah, Michigan. Beulah. I get it. We're gonna have their head brewer.
I'm expecting them. Fuck you, David, to come up on the comments.
We're gonna have the head brewer of Five Shores, Ellie, who's also a graduate of the KBCC Western Brewing.
Nice.
And since I'm drunk enough, and she's probably not watching anyway, but she's also on some kind of student board of the KVCC program. So Ellie's going to log in and chat with us about the Five Shores beer. We've got some Five Shores beer that I brought back a few years ago.
We're going to get a contact from her.
A week ago.
We're going to have somebody from the KVCC program, hopefully.
Yes. So we're going to touch on it gently, briefly in next week's show, but she's going to set us up with a contact for the Kalamazoo Valley brewing program. That's it. Roll the fucking outro.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
I apologize. Mea culpa. Mea maxima culpa.
It is, yeah.
Is this how you do the outro? Did I do it?
You did it. Yay. So they can still hear us because it is what it is. Now you can hit the end.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Oh, shit, I didn't hear end podcast.